welcome back, everybody. Welcome to the shop. My name is Joe, and I am a shop teacher. And so these videos mostly just kind of vlog the week that I had teaching classes. So currently we do teach on a hybrid model. And what that means is the student body is broken into two groups, A and B. A comes on Mondays and Thursdays, and B comes on Tuesdays and Fridays. Next week, we are going back 5 days a week, full class sizes. I did that for 18 years, so I kind of know how that works. However, we still got the all the situations of trying to stay distant, trying to wear our masks, and try to get these projects completed. Hybrid model works pretty well in a shop class as long as the students do their work at home. So let's dive into it, all right? So we'll talk about my Woods 1 class. My Woods 1 class has been building this shaker peg shelf, and they're making pretty good progress, learning a lot of good skills, learning how to use machinery, processes, different ways of machining the lumber, and they've been really making great progress. This week we had some real key things that we were working on. One of which is machining these pieces here. And by machining them, I mean squaring up the lumber, getting those pieces marked out with a template, learning how to operate the bandsaw, and then learning how to sand those curves out using an edge sander. Pretty simple process, and I would say that all my students really did very well with that. A few were very hesitant around the bandsaw, but with a sharp blade and a little bit of guidance, they really did quite well. Second thing was we had to mark out locations for the shaker pegs. Once those locations are marked out, we have the drill press set up, we have it set up with a stopper, and we even have it set up with that 1.5 inch offset. So all they have to do is hit their marks. We try to keep it simple and consistent because we're trying to make sure that every peg is able to get set into that hole. And so, real straightforward week. We are playing a little bit of stagger game with my Tuesday-Friday group has had snow days 2 weeks in a row, which meant they are basically a week behind the other group. And so classes are all at a different pace, and yet come Monday, we're going to be at the same spot, theoretically, right? So my Woods 2 class has been continuing to work on their table, and we're at that spot where we basically have about 2 weeks left of a trimester before they move on to new classes. Sometimes new schedules. Some of these students I'll see in another trimester. Some of them I won't see anymore this school year. So we've been building this table here. And last week we were kind of building the tabletop, and we were squaring that up and flattening that and planing it. And so this week we were able to get in and set up the table router and router the edges. We also battled a little bit with, okay, a few of my students could probably build the drawer and the face frame and the face and have a working drawer in their table, but a lot of the students, it's not going to happen. And so you get to that certain spot where you have to make the call for them, whether you go ahead and try to complete the table, or do you actually finish what you have so that you end up with a finished product that looks good. If you try to rush and build a drawer, but you don't have any runner slides to go underneath it, you're not ahead. The student ultimately ends up feeling unsuccessful because they weren't able to finish it. So that's a tricky thing that we kind of got to balance. However, we did have the students build this front face frame, And so this will replace the front board, and then they will build at least the drawer front, if not a false front, but at least they'll have that front. So it'll kind of look like a table that has a drawer. If the time ever comes, we could get a drawer in, we will do that. We might do that next trimester with the students. So that's been pretty much the week in the wood shop. Along with that, there's always maintenance tasks, there's always improvements in the shop, there's always cleanup. I've been talking to the folks over at Oneida Air. No school discount there, but getting new filters for our dust collector. And anytime a school purchases stuff, yes, it's tax-free, but it's a big hassle to get tax-free. You got to provide lots of papers, you got to fill out forms, you got to go back and forth. And so a lot of my past week was dealing with that. So sometimes it's nice to have a snow day because then I can make phone calls. But hey, let's go over to the auto shop and talk about what PowerTech and Auto has been doing this past week. So this past week in the PowerTech shop, you know, it's been busy. The kids have been really getting involved. They take safety pretty seriously, believe it or not. They've been doing a good job with their safety glasses. Their masks seem to slip down. You remind them, pull them back up. I'm a very big believer that I want my kids in this shop. You know, I could send them to the office, I could write them up, but I want them in the shop. So I try to give them the reminders. As long as it's not a safety issue, then I try to keep them here. If they're you know, doing the things that may cause other people to be unsafe, I will excuse them. So in PowerTech A, students are continuing to take engines apart. I've got a few students that have already kind of laid out their pieces. They've got them cleaned, polished, gaskets removed. They're moving on to valves, valve grinding. We're able to get in and cut some new seats, do a little valve lapping, and they're really making great progress on the engine reconditioning. We'll probably get into cylinder honing really quick, and then we'll give it a nice wash again, and we'll start building the engine. We do have some students still that are, once again, due to absences, due to snow days, due to just students' no prior knowledge of tools or mechanical concepts, they're struggling. The process is slow for them. Give them directions and you walk away, and 5 minutes later they're still at the same spot. And so they really almost need, a partner would work really well with them. Due to COVID though, I sought out engines and got one engine per student. But in those student situations, having a partner would really be helpful. My PowerTech B, however, they've been building these little DC motor kits, and they're putting them together per the directions, and what they're learning is directions are valuable. You skip one step, you skip one ingredient in the cookies, they taste bad, you know, and so making sure that you follow the directions. They've been getting introductions into continuity testers so they can make sure their connections are good. Talking about timing, you know, when do we want electricity to get to that electromagnet to make it operate? They're learning a lot. Now they haven't quite fit all those pieces together to actually figure out what they've learned. They're learning it. And so that was PowerTech. Like I said, snow days and staggering really kind of complicates things, but we're making progress nonetheless, and it's really fun to actually see the kids in class. Now the auto class is at that spot where they're also staggered quite a bit. And on Monday when you see this video, they're supposed to be at the same stage. So I'm trying to make sure that one group isn't going too far ahead where they're going to see the same material again on Monday, but I'm trying to make sure that we're not skipping anything with the other group. And so been playing a little bit of a, hey, you guys do this project again, and you guys, we need to get you caught up. And yet, anything that I teach these students, I feel is super valuable, and it's not fluff. It's things that we need to know. And so we are moving past fluid checks. Last week and early this week, they worked through a 16-point checklist, just a way to go through the vehicle, check the fluids, check the tire inflation, just kind of overview some of the fluid checks that they need to on the vehicle. Then we're going into what's called roadside service. A lot of what I teach here is auto ownership. We used to call it class auto technology. I think technically it's still called automotive technology, but really it's auto ownership now. So they're doing roadside service. So how do you change a flat in a parking lot, along the side of a road, using the little scissor lift that's inside? How do you find where the spare is at? Some of them are underneath the vehicle, some of them are in the trunk, some of them are in the back of the hatch. They're all in different places. I'm talking to the students about how someday you're gonna have a flat tire. And so it's a good thing to spend a Saturday afternoon figuring out where's the spare tire, how does the scissor lift work, and learning about that vehicle. So that's what we're working on in Auto Shop. This week I also had the opportunity to kind of work on a lot of the equipment in the shop. I do have a prep time, and that prep time is usually dedicated to making sure equipment is operating well, making sure that grades are put in, paying any bills that are associated with operating this shop, buying materials, and there's a lot. There's no prep time that's just lazy time. It is go, go, go. We had the opportunity to work on one of the old bench grinders that we have here, and I didn't realize how expensive bench grinders were. We have an old Baldor, and after asking Uncle Google about Baldor, apparently they're like an $1,800 to $2,000 bench grinder. So I was able to get new stones on that, and I was able to get new shields, the plexiglass portion of the shields. And that thing runs. It runs really nice and real smooth, and the $80-90 that I put into it, well worth it. I'm sure that it has never gotten maintenance during my time here, and so I'm sure that it's going to outlive me and it'll be here for the next guy. Other things is we're working in the wood shop, making sure the electrical drops are where they need to be, so we're maneuvering those a little bit, and there's always bits and pieces of things that we got to work on. So a little bit lengthier video. If you stuck around this long, I do appreciate it. These videos, I feel very passionate about sharing these videos. However, they take a little bit of work. They take time usually on Saturday for me to sit down and do some editing. They've not been a high view video by any means, but I feel like the people that are watching them really do appreciate them. This is on a personal note. If you do appreciate these videos, feel free to share. Feel free to use my Amazon affiliate link down below. All these things kind of help me justify spending the extra time making the videos. And so, thanks a lot. We'll see you later. Bye.